Okay, this next section is Denwen Maganuk. It literally means all my relations, but here we're just going to deal with the basic ones. Denwen Maganuk, when you say all my relations, you're really talking about everything. You're talking about the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the creepers and crawlers, the trees, the plants. You know, we're all related. We're connected to all those things on the earth. Relative terms in Potawatomi can seem kind of complex. For example, a person is possessed. That means it's my grandpa, or my grandma, or your grandma, or his or her grandma. You don't have random strangers running around your village. Also, we had a system which distinguishes whether it was an aunt on your mom's side or your dad's side, so it was very specific in nature. Today we have a somewhat simplified form, but still have our more formal structured way of addressing kin. Also, we often acknowledge if someone is older or younger in our kin terms. Nos, my father, nos. Then the slang way of saying is nededeyum, or just dede. Some people use dede for that more affectionate way of saying it, just dede. So, Gie, my mother, neneyum, my mom, more of a slang way of saying it, or nene. Remember, it's nene, not nene. Nene means man, so nene. You don't want to call your mom a man. Oftentimes we have a shortened form, like I was saying, like nene or dede, which is called a vocative, or kind of an affectionate form. It's also easier form sometimes to teach kids to start saying. So, nos, my father, dedeyum, my father, dede, my father. Gie, my mother. Neneyum, my mother, more slang. And then nene. Okay, Gwes is my son. Gwes, Gagwes, your son. Gagwes. There are also some more specific words for like firstborn or secondborn daughter and son. Donis, my daughter. Donis, Donnie, my daughter, more affectionate. Donnie. One more time. Negwes, Gagwes, Donis, or Ndani. Nokmis, my grandmother. Nokmis. Noko, my grandmother, more affectionate form. Noko. Gokmis, your grandmother. There's a number of slang words I've heard for grandmother, like koye, which I was told goes back to the word tokoye or tokoze, to be short. So it'd be kind of like teasingly calling her shorty. Koye. I've even heard people say koko, which would be more like your grandmother, but I've heard them use it for my grandma. So most common though would be nokmis, my grandmother, or noko, grandma, kind of a shortened form. Noko. Gokmis, your grandmother. Nimishomis, my grandfather. Nimishomis, and a more affectionate way is just Misho. Nimishom Sinanik, our grandfathers. Nimishom Sinanik, or Nokmis Sinanik, our grandmothers. And we're going to get into this a little bit more with possessives and things like that. Actually, we may have talked about it already, but this would be like our grandmothers. Nokmis Sinanik. Nimishom Sinanik, our grandfathers. Sometimes you'll hear that when people are talking, referring to like rocks when they're coming into a sweat. You know, Bojo, Misho, hello grandpa. And then Nimishom Sinanik, our grandfathers. One more time though. Nokmis, my grandmother. Noko, grandma. Gokmis, your grandmother. And then Nimishomis, my grandfather. Misho, grandpa. Nimishom Sinanik, our grandfathers. Nimishom Sinanik. Nokmis Sinanak, our grandmothers. And then I actually forgot the ones in the middle. Koye, which comes from Tukoye or Tukoze. And then when people pass on, if people pass away, we don't refer to them by their names. They say by doing this we're calling them back. Also, we often put a bin on the end of the word, indicating that they're no longer with us. So, instead of saying, a person's name, you might just say, so-and-so's uncle, or my uncle who's passed on, or my grandmother who's passed on. Nokmis Sibin. My grandmother who's passed on. Nokmis Sibin. Nimishom Sibin, my grandfather who's passed on. Nimishom Sibin. So one more time. Nokmis Sibin. Nimishom Sibin. Now if you were using this like your father it's passed on, you'd say Nospin. Or Ngieben, like mother who's passed on. A few more terms, family terms. Nitawas, my cousin. Today used for just cousin in the simplified form. Nitawas. Jishe, my uncle. Jishe. And I've heard this also as Njishe. So Njishe or Njishe. Nikon, my brother or friend of a male. Nikon. Nidgako, my sister. Nidgako. Or friend of a female. Nidgako. Njugwes, my aunt. In the more complicated form, you'll learn there are different words for many of these depending on if it's your mom's side or your dad's side, or the age of the person sometimes. So Nitawas, my cousin. Njishe, my uncle. Or Njishe. I think Njishe is probably more common. Njishe. Nikon, my brother, friend of a male. Nidgako, sister or friend of a female. Njugwes, my aunt. Okay, and that's it for the simple forms or basic relative terms. Yo.